Alright, we're back for another episode of Tony Talks. I am the host. Excuse me, I'm just getting over being sick. My name is Tony, and I'm going to talk, in case you couldn't realize, by the name of this show. Alright, anyway, how's everybody doing? Hopefully everybody's getting their Lysol, staying clean, staying away from the coronavirus. Because apparently Lysol is the only cleaning product worth the fuck. Because it's sold out everywhere. I went to buy some because I'm a fucking Uber driver and I just want to disinfect the car a little bit. But, between Target and Walmart and, let's face it, pretty much, I'm not going to shop anywhere else. Completely sold out of Lysol. But we did have some disinfectant wipes, the Great Value, the cheap Walmart brand. It's like the knockoff Lysol wipes. So I was able to get some of those, sterilize the car a little bit. Hopefully killed, all the coronavirus that has been infected from my car from picking people up from the airport and all that shit. Speaking of the airport, anybody see the airline prices right now? It's like $70 to go pretty much anywhere in the United States from the DFW airport, which is a giant airport. So if you're gonna go somewhere, if you want to buy tickets for your vacation you've been wanting to take, now's the time. I gotta get some fucking tickets. I meant to look at more last night, but shit. Yeah, so that's fun. Yeah, so that's just giving you a catch up between last episode and this episode. Still, doing the Uber, doing the data science program. It's pretty funny when I take Ubers. I always think, oh, the Uber driver, maybe they're a funny person or whatever. You look to see if they have any personality, depending on your mood and depending if you had any alcoholic influences or not. However, what I found to be even more interesting than that is when you're a driver, flipping the switch and seeing how all the passengers, aka fucking everybody, pretty much everybody uses Uber. And you run into all types of people from every walk of life. And sometimes they have a fucking story for you. And you're just like, what is going on right now? Because you literally interact with every class of person, every demographic of person, when they're in any type of mood. So it's fucking, you could have a podcast just based on the stories that some of these people tell you throughout the day. I picked up this one guy last week from the airport. Let's call him James. And he gets in the car and he's like, "Yo, man, I don't know where the fuck I'm at. I don't know where the fuck I'm at, bro." I'm like, you're in Dallas. What's going on? So he gets in. So we're driving around and we're just getting off the expressway there. He's like, "Where all your liquor stores at, man?" I'm like, I don't know. Where are you from? He tells me he's from Utah. And he's like, "Man, I'm from Utah. And when we get off the planes there, they fucking advertise that shit. You see those shits everywhere." I'm like, all right, well, we could stop somewhere if you want. He's like, yeah. He's like, fucking thing, man. I flew in because my wife, she out of town. She went to visit her family over in Italy. And I'm over here, I'm meeting this girl right now. I'm like, what is he talking about right now? I'm meeting this girl, and she telling me to get on the Airbnb and see if I could book a place. I said, man, fuck that. I don't know how you do that shit. So I just got a hotel, and hopefully we stop at a liquor store before the hotel. I'm like, yeah, man, we're gonna stop at a liquor store. It's all good. And I'm like, did I hear this guy right? So your wife flew away to see family in Italy? He's like, yeah, man. And I've been talking to this girl, man. Messaged her, got in the DMs over on Facebook, and she tell me to come in, and I get here, and now she telling me, oh, get an Airbnb app, and I was like, fuck that. She should do that shit. I'm like, yeah, man, she should do that shit. Let her do that shit. I don't know what the fuck to tell this guy. It's fucking hilarious. This guy was such a character. I stop at the liquor store. He I wait for him outside. He comes back. He's like, you got some funny people over here, man. I'm like, yeah, for show. He's like, yeah, for show, man. I'm like, what is going on? Oh, finally, I was able to drop him off, and hopefully he didn't have any encumbrances with his wife calling while he was with this girl that he was meeting. I think that they find an outlet and just talking to strangers, and they could just tell them shit. And I just thought it was hilarious that this guy just opened up and started telling me exactly what he was doing here. Because usually people don't. They'll take them to a hotel for some business function, or maybe they meet somebody. I don't know. I only talk to people if they talk to me, because I'll usually have like a headpiece on in my ear, and I'll be listening to a podcast or an Audible book or some shit. So if people start talking, obviously I'm gonna talk back, and when you talk back, sometimes you will hear some interesting tales that the everyday person has in this great country. And so, yeah, that was I came home after that, and tried to forget it. The next day, you get people doing all types of that have all types of backgrounds again, and picked up this group of girls that were like these Valley Girl lawyers, and they were like, like, if you're gonna testify in court and they're gonna tell you to do this, then I'm gonna object, and it's not gonna happen. And then her friend was like totally, I don't understand, is why would they do it like that? Because we're not gonna put up with that, and it's to sanction it and blah 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 blah. Now they got me saying that freaking 4-letter word. Every other word out of the mouth seemed to be like, and I guess they were like these Valley Girl lawyers, and it was just something I hadn't yet experienced, so that was different for me. But I'm sure they're smarter than I am, so hey, more power to them. It's just they had a certain tonality in their voices, but whatever. I would hire them to defend me, because it seems that they know what they're doing. Totally know what they're doing. You know what I'm saying? Between those two rides, and then passengers coming in and being like, have you come across anybody that has the coronavirus? And I'm like, no. If they had the coronavirus, I wouldn't be picking them up. And I'm pretty sure there's no way for me to know if they have the fucking coronavirus anyway. So what I did was I picked up Purell, and I put Purell into the back seat, because I have this thing that has waters and some candy and whatever. I take a lot of pride in my setup there in the back of the car, and also a charging station, this USB wire that has all the different types of chargers. So, gotta get those 5-star ratings, you know what I'm saying? Those are the, that's how you make your money there in the Uber. And people come in, I say, hey, how you doing? I'll try to make a joke. I'll tell them, hey, in case you need, I got the Purell back there, because we're going to stop the spread of the old corona, one Uber ride at a time. And they're like, oh, wow, that's great. Yeah, that's, I see that. The coronavirus. And then I've had this conversation about 47 times last week, just talking about the coronavirus and how the numbers say that the death statistics are most likely going to affect the elderly, and if you have a pre-existing health condition. And I'm going, yeah, no, I know, yeah, that's but hopefully it gets contained. That's why I got the Purell back there, That's why I Lysol the thing down, So hopefully it doesn't. Hopefully you don't have it, then, because if you have it, this is what I tell them. If you have it, and then you don't tell me, and I'm picking people up from the airport or taking people to the airport, I'm infected, not even knowing it, and then they get infected, And they're like, hopefully that's not the case. But no, I think you're okay. So, fucking shit. That's the old coronavirus. It seems it's the latest thing that everybody knows about. Um, and it's really, you can't go anywhere without not noticing the impact it's having. And I wish when this thing first came out, I bought some stock in fucking Johnson and Johnson or whoever the parent company is to Lysol and these disinfectant sprays and shit, because that's the only, if there's, I see the market's going down, and I don't know, I didn't look at anything, but the market apparently is going down, and if there's a stock that's going up, it's got to be Lysol and any disinfectant sprays, and whoever the fuck makes Purell, it's probably old Johnson and Johnson or some shit, because those are sold out fucking everywhere. And then toilet paper. Why is what I don't understand what the impact? Why everybody is stocking up on toilet paper? What is? I mean, what, to blow their nose, to wipe their asses because they're gonna be staying home and not going out. I don't understand why people are stocking up so much on toilet paper. And I'm sure it's something missing, and I'm sure it's something that a quick Google search can figure out, but I really don't feel like putting the effort into finding out why toilet paper is such a hot commodity in this turbulent coronavirus time, So, I just don't, I don't get the whole toilet paper thing. Well, anyway, whatever. Maybe they need it to blow their nose or who gives a shit? Anyway, Joe Biden has taken over the lead from Bernie Sanders. Talk about turbulent times. Poor Bernie. They all fucking, there's some states going on tomorrow, I know, but I'm not sure who the fuck is going to be, what state's going to be voting. I should probably know. I should have probably wrote that down. Been a little prepared for the podcast, but no. I just, my notes say Joe Biden / Bernie Sanders, underscore Tulsi, because Tulsi Gabbard, he keeps getting screwed out of fucking everything, because the debate requirements, they just changed it. They literally just changed it because I think there's only 3 active Democrats running right now. I don't know what they previously were, but they changed it that you have to have a certain amount of delegates now, and that knocks Tulsi out of the debate. They just changed it so that we just have Bernie Sanders and Joe Biden. It's the get off my lawn preview matchup for the ultimate get off my lawn main event between the winner of this get off my lawn fight against the young, spry, and ever so energetic, popped up on all the Adderall, POTUS, President of the United States, Donald J. Trump. How you doing? Donald Trump watching on, and he gives some great commentary, constantly throwing it in the face of Mini Mike Bloomberg. You spent $500 million. I could have told you it wasn't going to work out. I could have told you it wasn't going to work out. You should have told. Maybe if Bloomberg called Trump and they spoke and they said, we have all this money, why don't they go buy an island or someplace? They could just be in completely own and control whatever the fuck they want without having to use their money to try to become the president of the United States. They could have Mini Mike and old Donald J running things. But for now, we have to settle for them running the United States. That is until Joe and old Biden take off the gloves and they have a showdown to see who it'll be. You got Joe Biden there, former vice president. He seems to be the favorite. He's taking over control. And old Bernie, though, Bernie's got to punch his chance. He's always got to punch his chance. You never know what can happen. He pushed Hillary. He took Hillary to the all 12 rounds last time. All 12 rounds. And it went to the judge's decision. Was definitely not a knockout. This time maybe he's down a few rounds. But who knows? Maybe he could rally. Cap off the comeback now. Which is something that hopefully we'll get to see. Because I just can't with these fucking... with these politicians that are just more of the same, and Joe Biden is just the fucking bane of politics for the past. Forget about it. So hopefully, well, we'll see what the fuck happens. I'm not holding my breath. Bernie Sanders would be interesting. I think Bernie Sanders, and I said last episode that Biden and Trump would be some debate. I think Bernie Sanders and Trump might be even better. And Bernie Sanders seems like he's just at a point where he don't give a fuck anymore. It's obvious what they're trying to do. They're trying to steal the election, and we're not going to take this. So once again, I'm asking for your financial support. Now donate money to my campaign, and I will bring the money back to you when I'm elected president, and we will defeat Donald J. Trump. We're not going to take this anymore from the political establishment. Now, the Democrats are out to get us, and we will win this nomination from the Democrats, and we will defeat the Republican, Donald Trump. Hopefully, hopefully that's a decent Bernie Sanders impression for you. But you got him and Biden, and we'll see what happens. I hope Tulsi and Yang get together and make some babies. No, I'm just kidding. They're both married anyway. No, but hopefully they are able to spin off some type of, like what Ron Paul was able to do with the Liberty Movement and everything back in 2012. Hopefully they're able to do something. The left version of this, and then maybe everybody can meet in the middle. But who the fuck knows? That's what's been going on with current events, as far as I know. As far as the last time I checked, which was the other day, definitely not current. Nice, took a nice sip of water there. I went back to jiu-jitsu this morning, and it's Monday. I said I wanted to go Friday. Last episode. Last Friday, but I was just fucking, I felt like shit still. I was just coughing, and I didn't want to freak anybody out. And if you're going to spread germs somewhere, you don't want to do it in a mat when you're rolling around with a bunch of other dudes and, get everybody fucking sick. And I've been on the fucking antibiotics. Today was my last day taking it, thank God. You just feel it almost, hold on, I'm getting a call. Okay, and I'm back. Sorry about that. That was QuickBooks. I'm trying to get some shit set up with them, and they were adding shit to my account that I didn't want, that I had to pay for, and hopefully that is resolved now. Yeah. Anyway, what was I talking about? Antibiotics. When you take antibiotics, you feel yourself just get drained, like almost immediately. Brutal stuff. Anyway, I wanted to touch base about Cobra Kai. Probably the best TV show that if you're not watching, you need to be watching. Cobra Kai is awesome. It's about the Karate Kid in present day. It catches up with Daniel's son and his rival from the first movie. I can't remember the fucking character's name now. But that's my show of the week, which will likely not be a theme on the podcast, but it's the show of this week anyway, as it's on YouTube. I think it's YouTube Red or whatever. I got YouTube TV, so I think I get it through that. And it's a great show. The first 2 seasons was the first show I've binge watched in a very long time. Just a fun, feel good show. Well, no spoilers, but mostly feel good and some interesting stuff that makes it dramatic as well. I had First Take on the other day, and it's like the same things they've been talking about for the past 10 years. The category was LeBron. Could he overthrow Jordan as the GOAT? And it's like, how many times are we going to have this? Can we wait till LeBron's career is done before we have this conversation? He's 30. He's still playing at an extremely high level. Can we just appreciate him for what he is instead of constantly having to compare him to Jordan? Because, I was a LeBron hater for a long time, but the guy is great to watch play. I don't know if he's the best player still in the NBA right now. I think that might have to go to Giannis Antetokounmpo or Kawhi Leonard. But LeBron is right there. I mean, LeBron is probably, I don't know. There's like a 1A, 1B, and 1C as far as I'm concerned right now. But nothing matters until the fucking playoffs anyway. So we'll see what happens in the playoffs. Fucking James Dolan. The Knicks. Why the Knicks are always in controversy. James Dolan was found talking. He had the shit with Spike Lee. How are you pissing off Spike Lee now? Spike Lee said he's not gonna go to one game for the rest of the year. What do they do? It's just like embarrassing. I don't know who was right or who was wrong in the circumstance, but James Dolan is always behind every fucking thing that goes wrong with this franchise. They need to get I wish there was a way. It'll never happen. I wish there was a way for the NBA to intervene and say the Knicks are too good of a franchise, too potentially valuable to have a franchise. They're still, the thing is, what's just crazy is they're still the most valuable franchise in the fucking league because they play in the middle of New York City. But the fucking putrid running of the franchise with James Dolan as the fucking owner is just, for decades now, we've just been waiting for the team to turn it around on some level. It's been literally 2 decades since they were relevant. They had 1 year where they were the 2nd seed. They lost to the Pacers in the 2nd round with Melo and Stoudemire. That was it. That was our big year, and since then it's been what the fuck. I don't know. It's just so frustrating. It's just tiresome as a Knicks fan. I can't imagine rooting for another team, but it's almost like a part of me wants to just to get rid of, just to go to a team that is competently run, but it's just fucking a pain in the ass being a fan of that franchise. Anyway, had some big UFC this past weekend. I'm on like a downer because I was just talking about the Knicks. This is why I try not to talk about them too much. They drive me fucking crazy. They'll probably sign Vince Carter now. They're like, we got Vince Carter. Should have got Vince Carter 15 years ago. Now they're going to say, we got Vince Carter. 43 years old. That'll be their big offseason acquisition. After they miss out on everybody. Because nobody wants to play there because of Dolan. Because the culture and... Anyway, we had a big UFC. On to some positive. Mostly positive. Wally Zhang, Joanna Jędrzejczyk. Wow. The best female fight, and one of the best fights, period, of all time in mixed martial arts, let alone in the UFC, let alone in all mixed martial arts. I had no idea. I couldn't see, people score fights. I don't know how people are saying, I had a 2-2 going into the 5th, and then, I can't, when I'm watching a fight, it's hard. I just like to watch it. And usually you could tell if somebody has an edge, whatever, and you could say, she probably got that round. You're naturally going to do that a little bit. With Wally and Joanna, it seemed like Joanna is always the most technical. People forget she went 5 rounds with Valentina Shevchenko. She's fucking phenomenal. Anytime you fight her, you're gonna know how good you are. And Zhang Wali, or Wali Zhang, whatever, she's definitely the real deal. Because she put it on her, kept up with her pace. That was the one thing people were talking about. Joanna gets into the later rounds. Wally Zhang never been in those championship rounds, the 4th and 5th round. And it seemed like when they got to the 3rd round, she kind of plateaued, was slowing down a little bit, then got a second wind. At some point, either in the 4th or the 5th round. But her power, she just hitting. It just seems like she was she definitely was the more powerful fighter. Joanna was probably a bit more technical. And it was just a great that's just an unbelievable fight. Just one of the best fights, period, and definitely the best female fight of all time in the UFC. What fight can match that? I don't know what female fight left us like, holy shit. And God bless them. 115 pounders stole the fucking show. The smallest weight division in the UFC. And that's the thing with these weight classes now. We talked about the flyweights last time. It doesn't matter. You see people high level going at each other. It doesn't matter what their fucking weight is, what their gender is. Clearly, that was just wild. So Zhang got the decision, narrow split decision victory. Could have gone either way. There wouldn't have been a robbery either way. But I think the damage that she did, obviously, to Joanna's head, she looked like a different person. She looked like she was CGI animated at the end of that fight. And, Joe Rogan goes to interview her, and she's like covering her head, and he's like, "No, you look great." God. And then she had no injuries. God bless her. No injuries. Nothing long term anyway. I'm sure she felt like she had a fucking injury the next day. But, wow. That was really cool. That was really cool they stole the show like that. Yeah. Let's see. Sugar Sean O'Malley made his return. Made quick work. First round knockout. Man, I'd like to see him against a ranked opponent next. He's been gone, I think, like 2 years, give or take. Maybe just over 2 years. And he looked better than he did before the layoff. That seems to be a guy that they're going to want to push. They put him in the featured bout right before the main card got kicked off. It was a deep card, and he looked great. Hopefully I'd like to see him have a ranked opponent yet next. Maybe I know they got Cody Garbrandt and Rafael Asuncao. If he gets the loser of that fight, I wouldn't be mad, because they'll still be ranked, and that'll be a good barometer test for him to see where he's at. So, whatever. We'll see what happens next. What happens next with him. So that was pretty dope to see. Neil Magny looked great too. Another one that had a long layoff, and he looked phenomenal. Called out Michael Chiesa at the end of the fight. I don't know if I want to see that just as yet. Chiesa, I think he called out Colby Covington at the end of his last fight. He fought RDA, and I think RDA was ranked 5th. So I imagine, I don't have it in front of me right now, but I imagine he's right in that, Chiesa is right in that number 5 range. So it was Magny's first fight back. He was a world beater. Look at his resume. Got some big names on there. Kelvin Gastelum. I think he has another champion on there, but I don't have or somebody else that was at least a title Johnny Hendricks on there. So, I guess you can put him against Chiesa, but Chiesa had a victory, and he wants to go up in the rankings too. And any one of those matchups, Chiesa and Magny, or Chiesa and if they give him the Colby Covington matchup, that would work either way as well. So that was cool. And then we had the main event. Yeah, that's that Brita water there. Main event was interesting. It's hard to say, that fight sucked. Oh, what are they doing? There is a certain level of, we do know a good fight is the co-main event. It was impossible to follow what those girls did. But when Yoel came out and just stood there with his hands covering his face, I thought we might see that fight go exactly how it went. I was still kind of like, I still watched it intensely, because at any minute Yoel could decide to really shift into another gear and put Izzy into another dimension if he went after it, but just never really happened. And the end of the fight, they bump chests and they scream at each other. I was like, "What? You just fought. You were just locked in a cage with each other for 25 minutes, And then at the end of it, you're just gonna act like it was really nothing decisive happened in the fight. But that's what happens when you have a guy as technical as Adesanya. He's gonna fight to the rhythm of his opponent. And Yoel standing there with his hand like, what did you think he was gonna do? Did you think Stylebender was gonna go in and mix it up with you? I mean, he's the champion. He was right. He said at the end of it, he did what he had to do to win, and he did. He did what he had to do to win. He dealt more damage to Yoel throughout the fight for sure because of the leg kicks, and we saw what Yoel's leg looked like. But just it is what it is. And then the fight, it was disappointing how it went down. But when you have such severe consequences that could happen for any of these guys, the only thing I would say is Yoel, he was 42. This was kind of his last shot at the title, and it sucks to see because of how talented and how ferocious that guy could be. To see him go out like that, it's just not what you think of when you think of Yoel Romero. When you think of Yoel Romero, you think of bombs for hands and everything, and just explosiveness and whatever, all that shit. Props to Izzy. 3 takedown attempts for Yoel, 3 takedown defenses. So yeah, Izzy did what he had to do, outpointed him, and then got the decision, stopped the takedowns. Would have liked to see Yoel, because he was like fresh, and Yoel, one of the biggest criticisms of him is that he tires out in the later rounds, but the first few rounds were so slow. He had plenty of energy in the last couple of rounds. Could have turned it on, went for takedown after takedown, and just put the pressure on Izzy in that sense. But it just, it didn't happen. So what are you going to do? Congrats to Stylebender. And just saw what the UFC did. I thought it was very interesting. They seem to be pushing Paulo Costa very strong right now. They're really pushing him because Stylebender, we said it last time, he's on the verge of becoming like a transcend MMA crossover into pop culture. Try to get to that Conor McGregor, Ronda Rousey stardom, and just with a performance like that, it's not gonna happen. If he had gone in there and starched Yoel, he'd be the big talk of, can anybody beat this guy? Now it seems like they're really pushing Paulo Costa because, I mean, that guy looks like he's fucking chiseled. Like Yoel was jacked. This guy is bigger than Yoel, and they gave him a media scrum after I don't know why they got removed, because they were just nerds. And then Dana White was hyping him up. They were, look at him. And so they're really going to push that fight now. And I think they know that Paulo Costa needs a little bit more marketability to kind of match what Stylebender is able to bring to the table. And they probably feel like Stylebender might need some help right now because of that fight against Yoel. The thing about McGregor and Rousey, when they cross over, they were able to cross over really into the mainstream and become such big stars, is there was never like a dud fight. Ronda Rousey was constantly getting finishes, up until her loss, of course. And McGregor up until even the Nate Diaz fight, the first one was a good fight, and then he just lost. And because of how he responded to it, and then came back, and he had the fucking epic 5-round war with Nate. And then the Eddie Alvarez becoming the double champion, going the distance with fucking, not even going to go the distance, but making a boxing match against Floyd Mayweather look like they're at least look like they could be in the same league together. Went 10 rounds with or just under 10 rounds with Mayweather. There's never a dull moment. They neither one of them had a dull moment up until Rousey's loss, and even Conor losing to Khabib didn't hurt his brand too much, but so Stylebender kind of there was nothing like too explosive that you could really build off of as far as his brand goes. So I think that's why they're going to push Costa, and hopefully we see that fight. That should be that should be a different fight because Costa did what to Yoel Romero what nobody does to Yoel Romero and just put it on him constantly for all 3 rounds of that fight, and that was a great fight too. So we'll see what happens. Stylebender, Costa, definitely looking forward to that. They had the press conference with Tony Ferguson and Khabib Nurmagomedov. How you doing? That was cool. They are. Oh, I can't believe that fight is gonna happen. Oh, I don't want to say anything to jinx it because they've been scheduled to fight 4 times now. Both fighters have pulled out 2 times for. I think Khabib had a weight cut issue one time. Ferguson had the fucking crazy, tripped on a wire, tore like everything in his knee injury, but somehow came back in 5 months to fight Anthony Pettis. So I really hope that's just going to be the most for people that follow the UFC closely. Maybe not casual fans, but for people that follow, though Khabib crosses over to casuals as well. He's like kind of become like almost a crossover star. I'm curious to see how much pay-per-views that does, because for people that really follow the UFC, that's gotta be one of the biggest fights in the UFC history, if not of all time. Because literally those 2 guys, what they've done, I don't think Ferguson's lost since 2013 to Michael Johnson, and Khabib hasn't lost ever to anyone. And this really is the fight for the lightweight GOAT. I think these 2 guys. You have 2 guys that have equally impressive resumes. This could determine who the best is ever in a division. So, what's not to love about this? And everybody's saying, "Oh, Tony might have gotten Khabib's head because Khabib kicked his belt off the stage." If you didn't see it, Ferguson had his interim title with him, and Khabib had the undisputed title, and he put it down, and he told Khabib to take his glasses off, even though Khabib wasn't wearing glasses. That's just Tony Ferguson. He's fucking crazy. I love him, and people think he got in Khabib's head a little bit. Maybe he did. Khabib seems to have a lot of respect for him. However, getting in Khabib's head, which is something I believe Conor did as well, clearly, because Khabib jumped over the cage and tried to attack everybody in McGregor's team, it kind of made Khabib better. So you could get in his head at your own. I don't think there was anything too crazy that he did. He didn't do anything like too personal. Just it's kind of, I'm going to fuck you up. I'm a hitman. I'm going to kill you. Blah, blah, blah. Just generic trash talking stuff. Nothing too, didn't go after his religion like the way Conor did or anything too crazy. So that was, and Khabib knows that Tony's a great fighter, and he gives him all the respect in the world as a fighter, but calls him stupid guy. He's a stupid guy. That's why nobody like him. So we'll see what happens. April 18th. That's going to be the big one. I thought we'd hear some steam on Conor and Gaethje. I think that fight is going to end up happening, but there hasn't been any news on that since. I think they might hold off until after the Tony Ferguson Khabib title fight next month, because they might want to slot Conor in there should something happen to one of those 2 guys, which I understand. However, why not? Well, we'll see what happens. I don't know if Gaethje is in Conor's plans. I hope he is, because that just makes sense. That's fair to Gaethje, and Conor shouldn't get a fucking title shot after having 1 win against a guy coming off. I think he was coming off back-to-back losses. Yeah, because he fought Ferguson, he lost, and then he fought Gaethje, he lost. So he shouldn't get a title fight because he beat Cowboy, even though Cowboy's a legend and everything. One thing I wanted to note, Dan Miragliotta, the referee in the Yoel and Izzy fight, telling them, come on, guys, you got to give them something to score. Let's go, pick it up. You're the referee. You can't tell the fight. You shouldn't be able to tell the fighters to pick up the action, pick up the pace. That's like coaching them. Can you imagine an NBA game and having the refs tell the team, hey, come on, up the floor quicker. Let's go. It'd be like, dude, shut the fuck up. I listen to my coaches. I listen to my corner. I don't listen to the referee. Your job is to enforce the rules, not force the action. Okay? Yeah. That was pretty much everything from last weekend's UFC. Upcoming card, Kevin Lee, big fight for him against Oliveira. That's the main event. I don't know where they're going to be. I think they're in Brazil. Yeah, because it's like all Brazilians on this card. Damian Maia gets Gilbert Burns. That's a co-main event. That'll be the first time we see Maia since his victory that sent Ben Askren into retirement. That should be fun to watch. He's a legend. Renato Moicano's on that card. He's moving up to lightweight. I didn't even know that until I looked at this card. He was maybe one fight away for fighting for the title as a featherweight, so it'll be interesting to see what going up a weight class does for him. And then Johnny Walker is on the card as well. This is a cool card and should have some interesting storylines. Kevin Lee, be interesting to see what happens with him after this one if he wins, because he's up there at TriStar. He's at a very high level gym. One of, if not the best gym. All the MMA gyms are great as far as the elite ones go, but if Kevin Lee is able to get this victory, what happens with him next? Because he was kind of like on the outside looking in, moved up to welterweight, lost to RDA, of course, he lost to Ali Aquinta, he lost the interim fight to Ferguson. So we'll see what happens with Kevin Lee after this one, if he gets the W, and I think he will. I think because of the camp he's at, he's going to be probably the best that we've seen to date. So that's exciting stuff. I'm not sure. Give him somebody in the top 10, maybe. I'm trying to think. Lightweight, everybody's kind of booked. Hooker is fighting Poirier. That would be something that makes sense. I don't want to see him fight Iaquinta again. He already fought Barboza, and Barboza said he wants to get cut. I gotta look at the rankings and see who else in the top 10 doesn't have somebody matched up against him. But that would make sense for him after this one. Get him back in the rankings. He's good personality, he's marketable, and he's fun to watch. Very exciting. And as far as everything else goes, that's pretty much it. Hope you guys are doing well. The dozens upon dozens, the really countless. You really can't count how many people that are currently tuning into the talks every week or bi-weekly. I think we're going to try to do these bi-weekly, and I'm going to continue to hopefully get better at them. Hopefully this is better than the last one. And that's pretty much it. I appreciate everybody's time. Instagram, TonyTalks8. That's pretty much the main way, the only way I'm promoting the podcast right now. I'm going to let it build slowly but surely, and it will be surely, because, I don't know. Whatever. Got some work to do. Hope everybody's doing all right. Staying healthy. Everybody's got the Lysol. They got the Purell disinfecting everything. God bless you. Keep away from the corona, and go fuck yourselves. Until next time.